Caramba! Embaçado, hein? Pera aí. Rapaz, vai dar trabalho esse aqui. Ah, filho da mãe! Nossa, já era. Nossa, esse samurai aqui, velho. Aí. Vai. Caramba, bicho é muito... Pera aí, eu tô moscando, tô moscando. Ah, agora vai. Nossa. Ela aplica veneno. Eu não vou precisar disso aqui. Oh, vai lá, mano. Nossa senhora. DLC? Ih, cadê o Hulk? Esse aqui é a DLC. Tá aqui também. Quero fazer essa DLC aqui. Mano, tem a parte dos esquilos aqui, mas tá difícil esse boss aqui. E eu que eu fiz bastante coisa aqui no jogo, hein, pra ficar forte. Ah, meu Deus do céu. Ai, meu Deus. Pera aí. Vamos lá. Deixa eu sentar direito aqui, porque... Nossa, mano, não acredito que eu morri ali. Caramba, eu tô morrendo de bobeira. Eu vou ter que matar ele de... Vou ter que ir na paz mesmo. Devagarzinho, porque eu tô querendo matar rápido. Toda vez que eu quero matar rápido um boss, não dá certo. Né? Impressionante. Vai. Aí, ó. Ó, concentração, hein?
Reggie wished he could have learned from Mausamoto when he was alive. But now, his dual blades had fallen silent forever. Reggie directed Amy to the Crimson Keep, glad to have found her safe.
Ah, ganhei uma kataninha, hein? Boa. É, tô precisando de mais vida. Boa. Vamos lá, subir. Agora eu preciso ver onde é que tá.
Seems Amy wasn't the only bard who hadn't reappeared. Rex still needed help.
Deixa eu ver o negócio. Era pra vir aqui não, era pra descer. Tem um lugar pra dar um... Aqui, ó. Da DLC. É aqui, hein? Vamos lá.
Reggie was greeted by the squirrel guide Zazu at the forest edge. She'd been sent to show the king the way to the festival, a secret path known only by squirrel folk.
Guardar, guardar. Deixa guardado esses itens porque eu já tô com os melhorzinhos aqui.
The forest was not at all what the young king expected. He'd heard the bright fir's golden leaves bathed the entire forest in light. There'd been no mention of these giant mushrooms that made the air heavy with spores. The bright fir's golden light fell on the forest clearing and
O pinheiro brilhante. Vá pra fase brilhante e deleite com a luz dourada. Ó, conquista rara. Eles colocaram até conquista na DLC, aí é bacana, hein?
Zazu, embarrassed, explained the reason they asked the brave young king here was to plead for his help. The squirrel elder and a priest of the bright fir journeyed to the abandoned glimmer mines to harvest bright moss, and had not returned. With the golden light of the camp behind him, Reggie headed back out into the gloom in search of the mines. Signs were not promising. Outside the glimmer mines were vicious beetles. What had driven them from their cave home? The squirrel folk were in more danger than they knew.
Caramba. Tá, tem uma desse daqui e temos pro lado também. Deixa eu ir pro lado primeiro pra ver o que que tem aqui. Ah, preciso de uma chave. Vamos pra mina. Olha o bolzinho das roupas aqui. Deus. Bateus. Pera aí. Vai falando todo torto aí. Até que eu tenha. Até que eu tenho uma sopinha legal. Vamos ver aqui. Opa. Deve contar alguma história aquele negócio ali.
The Squirrel Elder's walking cane, lying abandoned. If he didn't have it, Reggie wondered, how did he carry himself from this place?
Oxe. Pera aí. Já era. The rocks of the Glimmer Mines glowed with a blue light unlike anything Reggie had ever seen. Reggie wondered what the moles would make of this place. The Squirrel Elder's lifeless body lay on the floor. The priest at his side. Ai, esse cara velho. Ai, caramba.
Approach, he found out why they were trapped here. This was the nest of the Beetle Queen.
Rapaz do céu. Não, peraí, sai daí.
The Squirrel Elder's lifeless body lay on the floor, the priest at his side. Before Reggie could approach, he found out why they were trapped here. This was the nest of the Beetle Queen.
Yeah. Já era.
With the Beetle Queen in her glimmering grave, Reggie touched the still body of the Squirrel Elder. The Squirrel Elder rose with a yelp. He'd been in trance from the ritual smoking of extra potent bright moss. Unaware, he almost became the Beetle Queen's snack. Thanking Reggie for the rescue, they headed back to begin the festival.
Vixe, olha essa aqui. Ela tem uma defesa grande. Eu gostei disso aqui. Mais love. Aí, pegar um pouquinho mais. Mais caminho pra pegar. Opa, pera aí.
This market stall sells all sorts of quality goods. A few coins spent here would spruce up the Crimson Keep nicely.
Esse aqui tá
With the
certo.
Squirrel Elder back at the Bright Fir, with a tankard of bright sap in his paw, the festival of Leaf's Fall could finally begin. No sooner had the Elder raised his cup into the air to begin his opening speech, came the clattering of wood and smashing of glass. To everyone's horror, a drunken squirrel had knocked over the table with the bright sap. The festival of Leaf's Fall could not continue without the rare and sacred drink. The Squirrel Elder turned to Reggie, asking if the brave young king would again save
Agora tô com a chave.
and venture into the shrine of the tapped root to collect more bright sap.
Vamos ver. Agora o bicho pega, hein? Não, pera aí, eu voltei. É pra lá mesmo, oh, caramba. Achei que ela tinha me dado a chave da outra porta lá da frente. Me deu da porta de trás. Ó. Já enchi aqui o vidrinho porque eu sei que eu vou usar.
In the maze of bright fir roots, the spores were so thick Reggie had to wear his gas mask. Was this infestation the reason the bright firs were dying?
Já era. Cortei a cabeça da minhoca. Opa, coisa secreta. E agora eu vou em frente. Descer, né?
The shrine of the tapped root stood before him, but the root looked damaged. Before Reggie could wonder what had done this, he got his answer. A root worm, bloated and enraged by bright sap.
Já era.
From these parts for generations, Reggie had a feeling its presence meant something was rotten in the state of Bright Fur. To Reggie's dismay, the tap was broken. Reggie did not look forward to returning to the Squirrel Elder with no sacred sap and news of rootworms.
E coletar isso aqui pra recuperar a vida. Aqui. Oxi, por que não subiu? Oxi, ele pulou e voltou. Pra entender. Você tem que entender.
Though shocked at the news, the Squirrel Elder had an idea. The tap was one of several made in the basement woodsmith workshop of Castle Dre. Perhaps Reggie could look there.
É interessante essa DLC aqui. Quem? Eu ganhei bastante skin.
Approaching the ruins of Castle Dre, Reggie's whiskers twitched at the familiar stench on the breeze. He refused to believe it. After all he'd done to be rid of them, it could not be. The frog scourge had returned, a pestilence on a sacred forest that could not be allowed to spread. A slapping of webbed feet from the basement. More pond filth waited below, and would soon feel his blade.
É, alguma coisa tá aqui.
The frog squatter was none other than General Hack, no better than a common thief looting supplies. The only thing he claimed today was his last breath.
Nossa! O maluco só deu duas em mim. Tum, tum. Veneno.
The pilgrimage to Bright Fur was not an easy wagon ride. This family's wagon wheel broke in the mud. They offered a reward if Reggie could find them a replacement.
Até eu chegar lá. Vamos pegar de novo. Vai salvar aqui, né? Porque senão não vai saber. Torre. E eu salvei, ó. Tá, a DLC tá boa. Tá difícil.
Approaching the
Os
ruins
inimigos
of
estão
Castle
matando
Trey,
rápido.
Reggie's whiskers twitched.
Pior que eu peguei todas as armas do começo.
He
Fiz
refused
todas.
to believe it. After all he'd done to be rid of him, it could not be. The frog's scourge had returned, a pestilence on the sacred forest that could not be allowed to spread.
Tá morto.
A slapping of webbed feet from the basement. More pond filth waited below.
Agora é o bichão aqui, ó.
Feel his blade. The frog squatter was none other than General Hackhack, no better than a common thief looting supplies. The only thing he'd be taking today was his last breath.
Nossa. Já era. Oxe, 9 minutos pra achar a partida? Oxe, Maria. Nossa, tem que ir lá de novo, ó. Alguma coisa tá errada. Porque... Oxe, tinha partida demorada assim.
Reggie's whiskers twitched at the familiar stench on the breeze. He refused to believe it. After all he'd done to be rid of them, it could not be. The frog's scourge had returned, a pestilence on the sacred forest that could not be allowed to spread.
Já era.
A slapping of webbed feet from the basement. More pond filth waited below, and would soon feel his blade.
Será que é por causa do rank?
The frog squatter was none other than General Hackhack, no better than a common thief looting supplies. The only thing he'd be taking today was his last breath.
Caramba, velho. Que droga, cara. Nossa, volta mó longe. É, tem esse jogo que tu não pode se afobar, tem que ir devagar,
Approaching the ruins of
Porque,
Castle
tipo assim,
Grey,
se você quiser matar, é porque eu tô querendo matar rápido, por isso que não tá dando bom.
He refused to believe it. After all he'd done to be rid of them, it could not be. The frog scourge had returned, a pestilence on the sacred forest that could not be allowed to spread.
Já era.
A slapping of webbed feet from the basement. More pond filth.
Vamos lá. Vai, agora pra valer, hein?
His blade. The frog squatter was none other than General Hackhack. No better than a common thief looting supplies. The only thing he'd be taking today was his last breath.
Vai. Aí, já era. Toma. Finalizado, fi. Respeita.
With the satisfaction of the frog general dead at his paws, Reggie found the replacement tap. The squirrels would have their sacred sap.
Boa. Deu savezito. Vamos lá. Esse jogo é bom.
Reggie was surprised to find a mole in Brightfur Forest. The mole was embarrassed. He'd got lost going from Station C-19 to Station 24/7. Reggie sympathized. Those tunnels were a tough route. Lost he may have been.
Isso, é contra a topeira.
The mole had armor for sale, if the king had the coin. The mole had heard of this king of rats who traveled the underground.
Tem umas roupinhas, mas nenhuma é melhor que a que eu tô.
Reggie knew the tunnels well enough to give him directions. The king barely noticed the journey back to the Bright Fur, dwelling as he was on the return of frog spawn to the ratdom. Where there's a general, an army must be close by. Reggie handed over the tap, but wished he could spare the old squirrel the pain of hearing frogs were in Castle Dray. The squirrel elder could not allow the festival to continue, knowing pond scum squatted in their ancestral. Reggie did not need to be asked. He knew what needed to be done. Reggie could not believe the frogs had returned after all he had done to be rid of them. Pond scum never learn.
Ó. Agora eu tô com outra roupa. Caramba!
As Reggie made his way towards the ruins of Castle Dre, the stench of pond scum once again drifted in on the cool breeze.
É, agora eu consegui o bagulho aqui, ó.
Frogs had suddenly reappeared in the retdom.
Minha internet tá meio zoada. Deixa eu ver aqui. Ela tá caindo toda hora. É, tá estranho. Aí, tudo estranho, ó.